Hi there. Coming up, I'm going to tell you why this and this work so well together. So, sometimes you just want popcorn for dinner, and that's what we're doing. So clearly you can hear the popcorn popping. Good tip, when you have the popcorn in whatever you're popping it in, you want to cover the kernels almost all the way with olive oil. We love popping it in olive oil. Olive oil can handle a lot more heat than a lot of people realize, and it gives you really, really good flavorful popcorn. Now we wait 3-4 minutes. I don't know, maybe longer. So now that the popcorn's done, something that we like to have with it or on it is freshly grated Parmesan, and I'm going to put a little fresh thyme on there as well. Something really important to note is you want to do this right before you serve it. The reason is the moisture in this and the moisture in this can deflate the popcorn. And what I mean by that is it'll get a little soggy and taste stale, and you don't want that. But since it gets eaten pretty quickly, you do this right before you serve it, you've got no worries. And if you really want to have some fun, I can strongly suggest cooking up some bacon, pat it off as much as you can, get all the moisture you can out of it, let it cool, throw it in the food processor and pulverize the heck out of it. You got bacon dust. I can't tell you how good that is on this. Trust me, it's mind-blowing. Bon appetit. All right, so now about the co-star of the show, Prosecco. Prosecco is a sparkling wine to the uninitiated out there. Similar to Champagne, but not the same. The difference between Champagne and Prosecco, the major difference is, Champagne actually is a second fermentation in the bottle that creates the carbonation, where this is carbonated in the vessel and then put in the bottle, which is why it's a little less expensive. I promise I'll explain Champagne in another video further on down the road. What's great about Prosecco is it's very affordable, it's fun, it can elevate something like popcorn, potato chips, really anything you're eating, and make it feel like a celebration and less like just an everyday meal. You can find a really good Prosecco anywhere from about $10 to $20. Most of them hover around 12 to 15. It seems to fit a lot of different budgets, and it fits a lot of different personalities and palates. Prosecco comes from the northeast part of Italy, Veneto and Friuli, which are those two most northeastern parts. If you know where Venice is, you're kind of right near that. It's made from a grape called Glera, and it's named after the little village that kind of created this wine called Prosecco. That's about all the fun facts you really need to know about Prosecco, except I'd like to point out this is a darn good one to get. This is Acinum, an extra dry Prosecco. The more common expression you're going to find on the shelf is Brut. Then there's extra dry, then there's dry, and then there's demi-sec. Brut and extra dry are the ones that are most commonly found, and those are the levels of sweetness in the wine. And don't get confused by that. Very few Proseccos out there are sweet at all. Demi-sec is going to be hard to find, and that one's going to come off a little bit like a Moscato. Not quite as sweet, but very similar. The Brut and the extra dry are the ones you really want to look for. They're going to be like any other dry white wine you've had before, like perhaps a Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc. They're going to be crisp and clean and fresh and not heavy at all. The difference between Brut and extra dry, and why I prefer extra dry, is there's just a little more weight and fullness to this. It's not rich and heavy, but just a little, better mouthfeel. It's almost creamy, not oaky, but a creaminess to it, and that's why I like foods like popcorn with it, or something spicy like pad thai is quite good with it. But the best thing about Prosecco is its flexibility. I promise you, you compare this with pizza, again, popcorn, a ham sandwich. You can have a lot of fun with it. Potato chips are also a nice pairing for it. Probably some of the more elevated pairings are something a little more serious if you need something like that. Shellfish, oysters are brilliant with this. Sushi is one of my favorite pairings for Prosecco. Again, because of its affordability, it's easy to play around with it, and it makes it a very flexible option for a lot of different foods. So to take the fun element up just a notch, we decided to add a campy little soundtrack to what we're doing tonight. We felt it matched the personality of the popcorn. We've got bubbles in the bottle, so we figured, why not? Wait for it. Herb Albert. If you haven't heard it before, yes you have. You may not have recognized it. Maybe you're in the grocery store, the drugstore, waiting in line, in an elevator, I don't know. But it's kind of game show, brass, big band, but from the 60s, kind of lounge swing. It's just fun. There's no way not to smile and have a good time when you're listening to this. And frankly, couldn't think of a better pairing for what we were doing tonight. Love potion number 9 is probably the biggest hit off the bat. The taste of honey is what he's most famous for. And we'll end on this note. Cheers!